Good afternoon, everybody. Uneducated Economist here. So I was doing some reading yesterday, and it's kind of interesting how a lot of times when I'm doing research, like within a few days after reading something or, coming across some information that I maybe am new to, I find real life examples of it taking place. And something very similar to that took place yesterday. I was doing some reading last night, and today, while I was at work, and for those of you who don't know, I work at a lumber yard, I work at a hardware store, I do retail sales. I had a customer come in today and kind of prove to me the example that I was looking for that I had found inside of this reading that I had done last night. Now, I know this is all kind of confusing here, but let me see if I can explain things. Today, I had a customer come into the store today, and she was an older lady. I'm guessing somewhere, around 65 or so. She was buying some cleaning supplies, buying some gardening stuff. Looked like things to kind of occupy her day. Clean the windows, do some gardening, do some probably minor repairs around the house or something. She had like fertilizer. She had, like I say, some cleaning stuff, window cleanings, sponges, buckets, a handful of like gardening things like a watering wand, a wand that you put on the end of your hose so you can reach out and get the potted plants and stuff like that. She had those kind of things. And like the total bill came to like $65 if I remember right, somewhere around there. And she went to use her credit card and it was declined. And, she was a very nice lady. And I could see the frustration really starting to take place. So she tries the card again, declined. And I said to her, it looks like your card might be over the limit. Maybe we can put some stuff back or whatever. And she just kind of gave me a scowl. She says, hold on, I'll be right back. She steps outside. She makes a couple of phone calls. She comes back in. She tries another card, a different card. And that one was also declined. So she takes a few items and sets them aside, tries to run it again. Now we're down to like, I don't know, $50 or something like that. Card was declined again. And at this point I can really see the stress coming onto her face. Forehead was frowning up. She wasn't joking around anymore. She hardly, was speaking at all. She steps away again, makes a couple of more phone calls, comes back up to the counter. She says, can we split this up into a couple of different transactions? I said, yeah, sure, no problem. So she runs the card for $20, runs one of the cards for $20. That one goes through. She runs another card for $15 and another one for like 14 something. And that's how she was able to make her purchase. And I thought to myself, wow, you have 3 credit cards, all of them are maxed out, and you were stressing about buying cleaning supplies and some gardening stuff. And I got to thinking, I was like, how many Americans are living just like this? And for her, I'm assuming that, she might have a job, but I would assume that, she may have some retirement or Social Security or something like that coming in, which I can only assume is probably barely making the minimum payments on all these credit cards if she has more than just the 3 that I saw. I just, I try and fathom like the amount of buying power this lady must have is very small. It's just whatever happens to be available on her credit cards at the time. Or maybe if she happens to get like a retirement check or something, or, some kind of fixed income, she might have a little bit of cash, during that time. But for the most part, it looks like she's just living on these credit cards. I'm guessing. She was dressed fairly nice. She was driving a better car than I got. But, and I think, yeah, that's the condition of a lot of Americans right now, is completely loaded up on debt, and the simple purchases of just trying to get some cleaning supplies or something like that ends up becoming a very stressful event. Now, let me read you what I had found last night. And then I want you guys to guess, like it's just one paragraph, so it's very short. I want you guys to try and guess what time frame this piece came from. So it goes like this. We could do business on the basis of any dollar value as long as we have reasonable balance between the value of goods and services if it were not for the debt structure. The debt structure has obtained its present astronomical proportions due to an unbalanced disproportion of wealth production as measured in buying power during the years of prosperity. Too much of the product of labor was diverted into capital goods, and as a result, what seemed to be our prosperity was maintained on the basis of abnormal credit, both at home and abroad. The time came when we seemed to reach a point of saturation in the credit structure where, generally speaking, additional credit was no longer available, with the result that debtors were forced to curtail their consumption in an effort to create a margin to apply on the reduction of debts. This naturally reduced the demand of goods of all kinds, bringing about what appeared to be overproduction, but when in reality it was underconsumption measured in terms of real world, not the money world. This naturally brought about a falling in prices and unemployment. Unemployment further decreased the consumption of goods, which further increased unemployment, thus bringing about a continuing decline in prices. Earnings began to disappear, requiring economies of all kinds, decreases wages, salaries, and time of those employed. So when I read that, I think a lot about like some of the stuff that Dr. Lacey Hunt was talking about. And if you think about like all the debt that was created, had that debt gone into the production of jobs, then things would be rolling a lot smoother. We would have some growth to it. But all that debt went into consumption, which in turn did a great job for like spurring the look of growth, the idea of growth, like the potential of it. But then it fizzles out very quickly because once the credit supply turns off, then so does the consumption. Same thing with the lady. When she could not get that credit card to work, when she had no more access to credit, the items started coming off the counter. Consumption started to deplete. And without access to more credit, she wasn't going to consume anymore. It's very much the same situation that we're experiencing here in the United States. They can push out there all the credit they want, but the debt saturation has reached its limit. All right, Uneducated Economist, you guys let me know. And I'll leave a link down there in the description for this. Oh, by the way, where do you think this came from? Where I got this? This was a congressional hearing from February of 1933. Amazingly up to date, isn't it? I'll leave a link down in the description for you guys. Uneducated Economist, you let me know.